Air Commodore HB Singh joined the Joint Service Wing, which is now known as National Defence Academy, at the tender age of 15 years. The age when young boys are clueless as to what they have to achieve in life, he went through a rigorous journey of 3.5 years and passed the academy as a pilot officer when he was just 19. His self belief and hard work earned him success as he got Vayu Sena Medal. He has flying experience of aircrafts in Siachen and Leh Ladakh, which were often referred to as flying coffins. Not only was he passionate about flying, but also he excelled in all racket games and represented the Indian Air Force in many competitions. He had the proud privilege of commanding two transport squadrons and two Air Force stations. He retired from the Air Force after 33 glorious years as President Selection Board. He is now 85 years old and firmly believes that age is no barrier to pursue one's passions. Let's hear it from the man, Air Commodore HB Singh himself. He has lived life king size and is truly an inspiration for the youth of our country.
A warm welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing very fine for my age. I'm 85 years old.
But you are quite young as per your age, sir. Sir, I would like to ask you, how would you like to revisit these glorious years? Can you describe your journey?
Uh, Journey, I have a long 33 years journey in the Indian Air Force. Now, to begin with, I joined the Air Force in 1956. And that point of time, there were Dakotas, which was the main aircraft dropping supplies in the east. So my initial tenure was in the east, dropping supplies to Nagas, Mizorams, Inifa, etc., all in the hilly area where army was not easily accessible. So it was quite an experience. And thereafter, I was transferred after 3 years of tenure there to Fairchild Packet. If you heard of Fairchild Packet, it is an American aircraft which had just been purchased from the US, and it was meant to be flown at around 10 to 12,000 feet. But whereas we had inducted this aircraft for J&K, which is all hills are, if you have been that side, all to 19, 20 feet in height. So as a result, we were misusing this aircraft, but that was our need of the day. So we were having lots of engine failures, propellers runway, etc. So we were in fact had in our crew room named this as a flying coffin, because every day we were flying at 20,000 feet, which was necessary. But there was one place called Fukche, which was next to the Chinese border. And we had to take supplies for the army. What the army was doing at that, this Fukche was around 13,000 feet, which is the highest at that point of time. And we had this aircraft. So there was one long ridge which was called Changla Pass. Once we, with great difficulty, we crossed that. there was no return for home. We had to crash land.
Oh,
And you will be surprised that at Mokche, the army would water the landing ground just for one sortie, so that the rations for the army could reach the people who were guarding it. So, and many a times, uh, it was actually called a suicidal takeoff, which I have done it a large number of times, and my heart used to beat like a table tennis ball,
I'm sure.
uh, and till it left the Mother Earth. And many a times while taking off, the aircraft used to decelerate. It used to slow down because puddles of sand we had to cross through. So the engineer would say, so much speed, so much speed. Now we can get airborne. So this was the kind of flying which we did, and I was that time a young bachelor, so I could take lots of chances. So and you know, you'll be surprised, Shikha, what we used to be rewarded with. Just guesswork. 2 chocolates
Oh God.
for for every sortie. I was
So
so
sorry.
anyway. Uh, uh, I had a successful uh, tenure as a youngster, and lo behold, ultimately, I was asked to take over command of the packet squadron, uh, Fairchild packet, in 1976. Under the present, this was called a non-jet aircraft, uh, but the Air Force decided to withdraw this, considered unsafe, and I got the propellers changed. I got a NAT jet engine fitted on top by the excellent engineering department, and as such, I re-inducted this aircraft safe for 20,000 feet. The Americans did not agree to it. So they came to Srinagar, and because Srinagar was our base during winters and during summer, and in winters we used to operate from Pathankot. So these people flew along with our aircraft and declared after landing that, my God, these people are mad. They are killing themselves while flying. So, so this was because it was the necessity for feeding the army. You see my gray hair?
Yes.
Though, of course, it's the age, but the fact remains is that I uh, did carry out the task that was given to me. And that is how I commanded this unit successfully.
Thank you for doing this, sir. Thank you so much.
I have not finished. I have to cover the
Yes, yes,
33 years, 33 years. So
please.
I must
Go
tell
ahead.
you that the kind of risk that we took, you'll be surprised. Fighter pilots also said, you're flying to such an area. They came flying with me to Kargil. Kargil is a landing ground next to Pakistanis. And they were virtually standing up on the seat to be able to, that aircraft will land and hit the hill, because landing was only one side. Next was a hillock there, and we had to uh, run into that hill in case there was a problem with the aircraft. And that is how we lost a number of air crew during this period. So thereafter, I also commanded uh, I commanded 2 stations and 2 flying units. This was a flying unit in Agra, which used to operate their detachments ex-Srinagar or Pathankot. So uh, I was then posted to Aviation Research Center, which was a sort of unknown airfield, where I had the opportunity of meeting Indira Gandhi, and she made a comment that I don't want any politicians to come and meet me. I want only the ladies, the fair-looking people to sit with me. I have a photograph even today preserved. So thereafter, I was posted to. I'm only talking about the flying career, because I've had over 7,000 hours of flying, mostly in the aid of army, whether it was eastern sector or whether it was northern sector. So that is thereafter. I was I am a sportsman, and I developed a severe back problem, and my own senior medical officer downgraded my category, and I was grounded. So therefore, I was posted out to a command, and from there, as luck would have it, the army and air force chief got together, and army had started moving to Siachen Glacier. Have you heard of Siachen
Yes,
Glacier?
yes, yes.
Okay. So, and the aircraft which I was made to fly once again as a commanding officer, they were declared unfit to fly because of the aging. We had used these aircraft for almost 3 decades. So when I was posted there, I said to my senior staff officer, Air Chief Marshal Suri, sir, the aircraft is unfit. I am unfit because my medical category was down. And how do I operate? So he says, HB, you have bags of experience in the hills. So, and both service chiefs have got together. So you have to go and listen. So I took an aircraft, went to CME, went our central medical establishment in Delhi, and requested the AOC to kindly give me a flying category. My back is no problem at all. I can fly, etc. So he gave me a category fit to fly with a qualified captain. Because in ARC, I was flying a Russian aircraft. So I was not really tuned to fly back with this aircraft. Russian aircraft was a 4-engine aircraft called AN-12. And back after about 5 years, I was back to this aircraft when I was medically also unfit. So, however, I had to take that, and though the Siachen, the terrain was very difficult, and I took an empty aircraft initially, but designed a circuit whereby the dropping can be undertaken by anybody who operates this aircraft. So thereafter, we accomplished the task by dropping snow huts in segments. We dropped, and I got a pool of aircraft from 12th Squadron, and we were the OCs were detachment commanders, turn by turn. So this is how I accomplished this thing, and then I was posted with my rank as an air commodore to Guwahati to take over the station. So there I commanded for three years. I had 3 or 4 operational aircraft flying, and thereafter I went to Dehradun, the place from where I was selected in the Air Force. I retired from number 1 Air Force Selection Board in 1988 December.
So,
So
so
now,
how? Yes.
is there any? Please go ahead with any questions that you wish to ask.
Thank you. So you have the experience of flying AN-32 aircraft, which is the backbone of transport aircraft for IAF. So how is that experience?
Well, I'll be very frank with you. I phased out this Fairchild packet aircraft in Allahabad, and the first AN-32 was inducted by me. I have a photograph of the key of the aircraft given to me by the AOC of Central Air Command. So I do not have any experience in this, but I would love to fly this aircraft because it is like a child to me. I can take it anywhere. If I could take off in a landing ground which was only fit for one landing, only one landing, because I appreciate the army having used to water the complete runway after we transmitted that we are coming. But that particular area, if we had crossed, and if there was an engine problem or a propeller problem, we would not be able to go back home. So that was my flying experience. So I got so much of confidence.
So you have also been honored with Vayu Sena Medal. So and there are many more in the list. So how does it feel now?
Well, I have Shikha. My air officer commanding was Group Captain Datikara. He was he was an unmarried commander here in Chandigarh, and he got married, and one fine day, uh, I'll be frank with you, this Vayu Sena medal was given to me not because of flying. It was because I had done extensive, dangerous flying during my tenure. So that is how I got my Vayu Sena medal. And you will be
Very well
surprised,
deserved.
my elder brother and myself. It came out in the papers. We both got Vayu Sena medal on the same day.
Wow.
He is no more. He retired as a group captain.
Your
Question?
your advice to the youngsters, the youth of our nation.
Uh, Advice to the youngsters is that whatever be the task given to you, achieve it. No questions asked. Because the way you would appreciate the way we have flown, there is no, at that point of time, India could not afford this. I'm talking about 1957, 58. Could not afford a very transport aircraft, very expensive. This was virtually bought from the junkyard. They had phased it out, and that is how we got it, because the need was there. The army had moved, and we had to feed them. So basically, because of that, we took lots of chances.
So, how has been your post-retirement life?
Well, I must tell you that we were at Pathankot, and I decided it was in 1964 that I got married. And because we were flying forward area, these fighter blokes gave us few tented planes, just planes, where we dug up tents.
Oh,
And my wife learned to live in a tent as a newly married person. And from there, it was no go, because for 11 consecutive years, I have commanded 2 units and stations, and she's been a first lady of the unit or of the station.
wow.
So without her support, I couldn't have gone that high. And because of my medical problem, I have a severe back problem. I've been playing golf here uh, 7 days a week in Panchkula.
Great.
But unfortunately, with this lockdown, my problems with the age, if you don't exercise, I so exercise is the only mantra where you can live. Eat well, drink moderate, and succeed in life with certain ambition.
Very nice. Very nice. So, you're also a very great sports person. You have excelled in badminton and lawn tennis. So, okay, would you like to tell something more about your hobbies? As you mentioned,
Uh,
golf.
well, I'll start with my badminton. Uh, I was almost thrown out because I was doing it as a cadet in Jodhpur. I was doing my basic training, and my chief flying instructor, he was a youngster. His wife was in Bombay, and she was carrying. So he had gone for the delivery there. By that point of time in Jodhpur, there was a local tournament, and they asked a few cadets to join. Uh, we had an indoor badminton court where we used to do exercise, play, etc. And in that, uh, I was beating everyone. And but when the selection came of the people to be uh, taken to play outside in the civil, I was not selected. So my flying instructor He was Flight Lieutenant Scheller. Uh, he said, HB, why you have not been taken? I said, I don't know. Possibly it's not the game, it's my face, he doesn't like me. His name was Kirloskar. So he says, HB, I will give my money for you to join. And lo behold, I won the tournament.
Wow.
So as soon as he came back after the delivery, uh, mm, he said, what was the result? Obviously, he would have asked the selection committee or whatever was there. So they said, Cadet HB Singh won the tournament. So he says, Cadet HB Singh? I never, I never selected him. So he says he joined because of his instructor. So he changed my flying report completely. I was the first one to do solo. Solo is a big thing when you are asked to take the aircraft all by yourself. So when I went to the chief instructor, uh, chief flying instructor is there, and chief instructor is there. So he said, HB, I want to give you an option because I was from JSW, Joint Services Wing, which was also in Dehradun, where from I retired. So he said, HB, I give you an option. Either you take risk because you can't make a service pilot, or you join the second this thing, because they once you are out of either, which is known as NDA now, if you pass out from there, you can't be thrown out unless on disciplinary grounds. So I said, I will take it a chance. Flying is flying is something which I'm very fond of flying, and that is how I accumulated 7,000 hours plus, medically down later. And then I, in JSW, I took to tennis, and I used to watch my father in railways. He was in the railways, play and chop. If you know something about the racket game, you chop and spin the aircraft, spin the shuttle or the ball. So I learned that, and with that, I used to be called a stone wall. The stone wall keeps returning the egg, this thing, and that is how I became JSW number one in tennis. So then my div officer says, HB, you have got this number one position, but you will not be able to really improve your this thing, because you are just returning. You are not driving. So he then arranged my, in NDA or JSW, you have a games period. In games period, he arranged this thing, and from Clement Town, I used to go to IMA, and one Captain Kaval Krishnan, who became a general, uh, guided me how to drive the ball. So that is how I learned to drive, and then I represented Air Force